Saan paano buksan yung YouTube nito? Paano?
You may have been denied. You may have hit rock bottom. You may have been craving for the light. Now, all strive for one goal. Do you have what it takes to be a champion worthy of the highest glory?
Welcome back to the Mobile Legends World Championships. Here is the day of truth, because why we're going to be seeing a lot of these teams here fighting for that final slots to head in towards the playoffs. And of course, remember to catch every battle, stream like Craig, get unlimited data for all apps with Gila Unlimited GX30 only with you mobile. My name is ICBaby12. Join with me is the handsome Gideon Q. Gideon, how are you?
I'm doing good. We just saw a really exciting game with Geo Esports against Sunspark, and Geo actually snagging one game off of Sunsparks, which to me is like, oh dang, that's not bad.
Yeah, I like how you asked the question as well. What happened in game number 2? You know, honestly speaking, I wasn't expecting that as well, but still, it was a valuable time. Anything goes in the tournament itself, right?
Exactly.
We are at the world stage now. All of these teams are here competing at the highest level of competitive gameplay in Mobile Legends.
Well, this is actually pretty important because that one game might have just opened up the group a little bit more for Geo in their chances of actually gaining that top, you know, at least breaking into at least the bottom of the playoffs. The lower bracket of the playoffs.
Lower bracket.
That's the word I was trying to get for. But yeah, but if they're going to do that, Geo is going to need a 2-0 against Evil Esports here.
Ooh, that is going to be a tough one here, but we saw how Evo Esports was able to give Toda a run for their money. It was a really close attempt as well. Very similar to how Geo Esports went with also Sunspark as well, right?
Yeah.
So these games, now they have to beat here. The winner of this series here is going to be, you know, the one that has the slight chance to make it into the lower brackets of the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And seeing how Geo Esports and Evo Esports here, both of these teams have kind of like a signature heroes from coming from these teams, right? Like I think Husky did mention about the meta pick, right? The mainstream, the signature meta. We had the Zaz, we had the Jawhead on previously as well. But from here, Evo Esports, I feel it's gonna be their Zaz, and from Geo Esports, I kind of feel like it might be, we might see a couple of maybe a Derov pick into this game here. We didn't see it in previous games, but during the qualifiers, they brought out the Derov for themselves.
Well, honestly, I think both teams are kind of prepared, and honestly, this is after watching the couple of games for both Evil Esports as well as Geo Esports. I'm excited to see how they're going to play this out, because again, they have two very separate different play styles. They're not following the standard meta that most of us are used to. If they're going to go all out, they are willing to go double mage, even if it just denies your opponent. They can still pull it off, as we saw with Sunspark. And the same thing for Evil Esports. Like, they were playing a really good game.
Yeah.
Overall, I just think, however, that, you know, it's a clash of play styles. But maybe, just maybe, Evil Esports might be able to snag a win here.
Yeah, definitely here. And Masha, definitely a hero you've got to be watching out for as well. And I think Geo definitely did pull off a really nice Lilia play as well.
Yes.
Not many teams actually prioritize playing the Lilia here. And we see a lot of teams just completely forgetting about this hero, which just brings so much value into the mid to late stage of the game. Not the fatigue stage, but mid to late here. This is where Lila really shines the most, just because he was able to dish out a lot of control in terms of overall damage, which is really nice. And Geo Esports is going to be capitalized on that here. So I feel like it's all about how well they understand each other's playstyle and how they come out on that. So I'm a little bit excited to see who will be the victors coming from this series, coming from Geo Esports and also Evo Esports.
Well, no matter what, I think you should expect a lot of bloodshed to go around.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of very early game aggression from both sides. We're just going to have to see what the draft is. So maybe we can kind of predict when that first blood is going to happen. Is it going to be 2 minutes or 1 minute? Well, maybe who gets the grok might actually add up to that question.
Yeah, definitely here. And I feel like Evo Esports really... and one thing about Geo and Evo Esports, well, they both kind of prioritize the Digi pick into the final phase here. And there are not many teams actually prioritize Digi a lot, right? These two teams are the teams that actually play a lot of Digi. In those regards, we saw a couple of rewind there, which is really nice coming from both these teams. Unfortunately, it just didn't pay off too much for me, honestly speaking. I feel like it contributes a lot in terms of control in the early phase, but in this later stage here, the clutch time journey is what they need to close things out. But I feel like there are a lot of teams trying to figure out how to overstep their boundaries in these regards, but it's just a one-time thing. You bait out time journey, it's pretty much done. And in this case, High Loss brings out a lot in terms of their value, where you just give this glorious path where it just goes in and then like, yeah, your time journey is up, it's okay. I'm just having slows, so what? I just want my movement to disengage, re-engage in situations like that, which he contributes a lot in all these team fights.
I think I agree, but I think, when it comes to like the counter matchups, especially against the high loss, people are saying like, oh yeah, you can like take him out easily if you have something big and tanky, big and beefy, but then the Revitalize comes in, and then the big question is like, oh, can we actually chunk this guy out? Like, And so far, I think the best answer, in my personal opinion, that has a lot of versatility, is going to be the Akai. I think Akai is an overall better counter pick. It's just an overall better counter pick because it pushes you out of the Revitalize. It's like, hey, you want to abuse it? Nope, I'm just going to yank you out of there, lock you in, and you still have the flexibility of just going on other people.
Yes, definitely here. I agree with the Akai pick here. But one thing I want to actually mention as well, when I was bringing up towards the point of Diki, right? You saw how Torak was able to kind of like counter against the Diki play just by having those Valir just pushing you back. Yes, you force a time journey here. You bait out like, let's say, a Hurricane Dance from Akai. Yeah, we're gonna dive on you with the Diki. So what? I'm just gonna keep pushing you back non-stop, where your time journey is kind of like a one-off thing, whereas the spells coming from Valir just does a lot. But the only downside would be that it's super squishy until the mid to late stage.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I mean, even though he is, both sides are really super squishy, to be perfectly honest. But I think what it really came down to is just experience overall. And I think Torak, in that particular matchup, they had the experience of knowing when they can take a fight. And the moment that time journey was down, it's like, all right, here's the green light. We have a very clear way of just winning the fight without having to really contest much. So it's about the efficiency of their spells. However, in this matchup, I'm not so sure whether that's going to be the same case. It's going to look like it's going to be in mechanics. It's going to be like a lot of bloodshed. I'm more interested to see what the side lanes are going to offer. Like you said, the Dairoth. We saw the Thamus recently, and I don't know. I'm really hoping that one of these teams decides to bring out the Fanny.
Maybe, the Fanny has been off the meta for quite some time here, considering that Kufra is almost 100% banned except for today, right? Except for today. Previous days, everything was just ban. We saw one time Kufra on day number 1, but that's about it. After we saw the power of the Kufra, everything just completely slid off. But today, surprising enough, that matchup against Sunsprout with Tora, Kufra was kind of like let go all the way through. Same goes for Xbox in a way, but I feel like the Kufra is going to be like the key player here. If you're talking about Fanny, right? That's one of the greatest counter. Like, excluding Ling, who is kind of not allowed to be played in this tournament as well. But if Ling is brought as well, Ling is like the new replacement to Fanny for me.
Well, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I definitely don't disagree. Her abilities and kit is just really, really useful overall. But I'm thinking about like the good old days where it's like, if you're gonna pick Fanny, it's like, easily, I'm just gonna lock in Saber, and it's like, ooh, now this game just became way more interesting, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for both Geo and Evil Esports, who kind of just want to play their own game. Like meta, whatever. As long as I get to like completely crush your game plan by disrupting it, by taking your picks, by counter picking, then that's the way to go. Like, good for them.
I know the Saber is like off meta, it's kind of thing, but when there was a time when I just met a Saber, I'm like, hey, it's just a Saber. But when he gets those like 4 slaughter items, okay, he can literally one-shot you with 1 out. I'm like, okay, so I can see where you're getting at. But unfortunately, it's kind of like not on the meta. But if we really do see it, I'll be like, whoa.
I'm expecting not meta from both of these teams. Like, if there was a time to not expect the meta, it's right now between Geo Esports and Evil Esports. Like, the stats that we were given based on them, their win rates on particular champions, on particular heroes, is really weird. Like, all of a sudden you have strange picks like the Fanny, you have strange picks, Dairoth here and there, Mincetar once in a while. It's like, all right, if you're willing to bring these up, especially in pro play and the qualifiers, I'm excited to see what it's like against each other. But looks like we're going to be going straight into the draft. You guys have been waiting a little bit too long, and I'm excited to bring you these games. Let's begin the draft.
Well, speaking of drafts here, Geo, what are they going to be banning off here? Are they going to be starting off with the Grok ban on pretty standard brands, or are we going to see specific bans? Seems to me it's going to be the
Your
Xbox
team
ban right
is
off the bat.
banning.
I think meta or non-meta, Xborg is just a complete terror to deal with.
I know,
Just
right?
just get him out of the way, man.
I know, right? We saw how
Your team
many
is
times
banning.
Xbox has one of the highest win rates out of all 3 days, right? I think the only Xbox kind of lost, they kind of lost was the game against Kodak, I think. Which was it?
Yeah. No, they actually won that game against
they actually
Kodak.
won
Yeah,
too?
they won that game as well with the Xbox support there. But yeah, Masha gonna be the next man, followed up by the Harith
Your
from
team is
Geo. It
banning.
looks like, I mean, Geo overall just doesn't like dealing with Harith or Xborg one way or another. Get those out of my face. Evil Esports are like, all right, split push. No, just no, stop.
Yeah. Definitely, and yeah, sorry, it wasn't Todak, it was actually Evo Esports who actually lost against Todak. So that was
yes.
pretty much the only time I saw an Xbox, not that I can remember, but still, that's the only time that I saw actually the Xbox really lost, so I'm not surprised why they
Your
actually
team
banned
is
it off.
picking.
Kaja as well, we saw how Geo was able to pull that game against Sunspark in a way, but we know how powerful the Kaja is.
Rock.
But no, Geo going to
Your
be prioritizing
team
the Grok
is
here, so
picking.
Hydos is going to be immediate secure from Evo Esports for sure.
Yeah, interesting. They want to play meta. They want to have the Grok on their hands. I think that's kind of a no-brainer there. Evil Esports most likely going to lock in the high loss, but what are they going to pair it up with? Because
Kufra.
here's the question. Kufra is up on the table. If they lock in double tanks here, the problem is they're not going to hold back a counter
Yeah.
pick for later on, and that allows Geo Esports to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I can lock in Chang'e
Lolita.
if I
Yeah,
wanted to.
Chang'e Lolita, right? So in this case, it's gonna be a
Chang'e.
Yeah. I was about to say, like, you know, if you take the Kufra or Hylos, right? You know, okay, Geo is automatically gonna take the Chang'e and Lolita, but in this case, Evo Esports gonna be taking the Chang'e and Lolita for themselves, leaving up the Hylos for themselves. So in this case, we feel like Geo, it's all up to you. Are you gonna guys take the Kufra or are you guys gonna take the Hylos? That's what I feel like Evo Esports answer towards them.
Exactly, and it's not really like there is no winning
Leo
situation
Moore.
here. You just lost your
Your
counter pick, which
team
is
is
still
picking.
fine. I mean, there's Boxy on the table, but I don't think Geo or Evil Esports kind of want to force that out because then you're losing so much utility, like compared to something like a Kufra. And I think Leomon is a particularly interesting pick here because he knows like I need to get to that back line. I need to kind of like have a lot of utility while still
Carry.
looking to clean up the team fights.
Your
and I think this is a
team
great
is
way to
banning.
answer it. Evil Esports playing very meta here, sticking with the carry, making sure that no matter how strong your tanks are, I will chunk them out.
Definitely, and speaking of which here as well, instantly picking the carry here just deals really well against Grok as well as the Kufra here, just because they have this high HP percentage, right? So the lightning build definitely pierces through very
Your
easily
team is
from the side
banned.
of Evo Esports. So high loss instantly banned here, no more S tier banks for the side of Evo Esports. This is something they have to worry about as well. Fortunately for them, they still have the Lolita, but in terms of creep clear potential, they need something in the pool. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Diggy, it's not the best creep clear, at least you can poke it from a safe distance, right?
Yeah, and more importantly, it's like it just renders Kufra useless. He comes in, it's like, oh, I'm gonna make the big play, pops in that time journey, and it's like, well, not as effective as I thought I'd be.
I'm a bit worried here from side Evo Esports because they don't exactly have a really strong front line, except for Lolita, considering that Lolita is like a defensive front liner, right? So in this case,
Your
I was
team
expecting
is
them
picking.
for them to actually pick like Esmeralda, but seeing how they have the Chang'e, I'm worried here. They need something to actually protect this Chang'e from getting cut off, especially from the Kufra dives and also the Grok dive. So in this case,
Your team
it's going to be
is
a
picking.
Cho pick.
I
So,
like-
fighter Cho, tank Cho.
I like the
Thank
fact
you.
that they're flexing it because now it's an option. You can go either way. I mean, they're posing the question to Jiro. It's like, hey, we have this show. We're not looking to counter pick. However, we know that it's a good matchup against Leomord anyway. And if we don't like the matchup in our tank section, we can just switch it out with something else. So I think this is a win-win situation for Evil Esports. Geo is going to be
Bruno.
locking in the Bruno, hovering over the Kagura. They have plenty of options. I mean, Lunox is on the table, but they
Kagura.
want that AOE.
Nah,
Your
definitely going to be
team
playing the
is picking.
Kagura for them. Like I've seen their qualifiers as well. Their Kagura is a mean here. They tentatively play those kind of catch potential where they go in for team fights. They don't exactly commit to a 5 versus 5, but they commit into like a split push here. But Baxia definitely something that they needed here. I talked about the frontline tanks, right? They needed a Baxia at least. He's not exactly the greatest creep clear, but at least it's just someone that soaks up a lot of damage and just can push back whatever aggression that Joe's is offering.
Gatot was on the table.
True.
Franco was on the table. Akai was on the table. Like there were a lot of options, and they decided to go for Baxia. I think they have a reason for it. I just can't put two and two together here. Are they looking to go for like backline flanks and kind of hold them there? That's why I'm kind of like a bit iffy on this Baxia pick overall. I kind of like Geo Esports' composition a little bit more. I think the Kagura is a great way to get past that Lolita, because again, if you lock in something like a Lunox or maybe even a Kimi if it was up, Lolita's just going to put up that shield and be like, what you going to do? It gets a little difficult.
It's the same for the Hellcat as well, right? Like, I think it was the game with Torak as well, where the Hellcat almost got his shots actually blocked from the shield, which is a little bit tough here, but fortunately for them, it's not exactly easy to actually land off those shields to block every single shot. But
exactly.
In this case here, I agree what you're saying as well. So those mage picks here, I'm not too sure how they're going to be playing this out, but yes, I agree with you on a point where Geo has the slight advantage just because they have this 2 frontline tanks that just contribute so much in creep clear and just have a lot of aggression coming from them, whereas compared to Lolita and also the Baxia, yes, you can cut the backlines, you can set up a lot of damage output, but these are not the heroes that just would stand still and just take up whatever damage that Baxia is going to be dishing out.
Agreed. I think personally, like, I think where it got really interesting when they decided to lock in the carry
Reaches
very
the
soon. But
battlefield.
let's get straight into the game and talk about it a little bit more as Geo Esports is
troops
up against
deployed.
Evil Esports. Brazil versus Turkey. Who's going to take this game away?
Well, speaking of which, starting off, Changla's going to be on the mid side here alongside Kagura. Not too often we see this kind of mid matchup, but still, we have seen wonders coming in from the qualifiers of Turkey as also the qualifiers from Brazil. So Evil Esports and Geo Esports, that's how they got here. They are playing their signature heroes right now.
Evil Esports already going for a very early wave cut as well as contesting the buff. Wow, that's a little early here. And it looks like they're not going to get too much support from the other side of the map. Kufra, they're willing to sacrifice bot tier 1. They steal it away as 5 members and peel backwards. Okay, it's looking good, but they need to net profit themselves. They're going to take the rest of the jungle.
Yeah, I'm worried here because right now, like you said, 5 members stealing the buff here from the side of Evil Esports, and Geo Esports will get a free tower with only the Bruno and Kufra pushing that tier 1. That's a pretty early one here. Gold Crab getting contested from Evil Kadze as well. Bottom side, the Crab actually getting stolen also from Evil Esports. So losing a tier 1, fortunately for them, they will still get 2 Gold Crabs in favor of Evil Esports.
Let me just reiterate what the priority, maybe it's just me, the priority for EXP over a torrent of global gold. So they earn themselves an extra 500, 100 over each of the members. Like, well, let's see how this plays out.
Oh, he's gonna steal overtime here, but the buff here will be secured from Geo. So fortunately for him, they're gonna be fine. But nice block here coming from Aura, catches onto Hitachi, forcing the flicker. Meteor shower is there coming from Marker. Can he do enough damage? Wrong direction here, but Libra will be coming for the salvage here. But the way of Dragon catches onto, he's gonna make it out of here with the King Umbrella. Here comes the Revitalize, keeping Evil Esports at the bay here. And now First Blood will be taken out on the side of Kufra, and they want more Geo Esports. They have to go on a retreat here. The Phantom Team needs to back out as Libra will back out safely here. Evil Esports came out on top with 1 kill.
This is absolute chaos, both sides. I'm not too sure why Geo Esports wanted to like hold on a little bit longer with the Revitalize. They probably should have retreated a lot earlier. Like, yes, this was a good chunk out, but they have no way to kind of clear up the fight. The numbers were not in their favor. Aura flickers over the wall and then kind of just stands around there. Like, he doesn't need to be there anymore. He just needs to allow his team to escape, pops down the Revitalize, and then it kind of baits the rest of the team to be like, hey, maybe we should go back in. Like, no, they should have completely retreated, allowed Bruno to kind of farm up a little bit more, and maybe put some damage into that tier 2.
Yeah, the Revitalize from Evil Esports is the one that actually made things really well for them. But I agree that way Aura had to back off. However, it's not over yet here. Gonna be jumping onto Kadze as well. He's popped the Purify. He's gonna be fine. But Kufra from the back line, a huge Siren's Raid connects onto the tree. They get the kill. Libra finishes him off. Grok commits the kill, and they want the Changa. They will take him down. No turnabout for you, Libra. He's a little bit too low. Luca wants to finish him off. Will he be able to heal himself up? Yes, he's gonna try to break a dodge for it. Libra making a run here. comes the sun. Luca, will he finish off the shield as well from him? He's not dead yet, Libra. He's making a run. What a save from Aura. Luca, what a dodge. Here comes the shield again. Luca, what are you doing? You're gonna go down, but Libra, here comes the rest of Calvary's here from the side of Evo Esports, but he's not dead. He eventually goes down. Geo Esports, they bought a 4-man commitment up top.
All right, this game is going in an interesting direction. The rest of Geo Esports holding out on their own. But again, I was talking about chaos since the beginning, and yes, this is exactly what we were looking for.
Oh my. They still overcommitted their stay from the side of Geo Esports. Evo Esports managed to punish them here, but at the same time, that play right there bought Homie some time to get some far. But in this case, Purify gets forced up and he gets taken down. So all that hoo-ha was all for naught now.
Yeah, and now Evil Esports have really reclaimed their gold lead back. And Geo Esports, all the effort that they've been putting on, that might have actually hurt them. They got that first initial turret. They haven't been farming their jungle very efficiently, and now they're at a deficit at both gold as well as EXP.
Yep, Evo Esports here with the Bucks. Yeah, we know he's one of the most mobilized tanks in this game as well. He's so easy to rotate here. However, here comes the Cobra. He's gonna try and pick a fight against Luca, but he'll pop the ultimate and make a run for it.
Yep, the Tortoise Horizons dropped already. Wow, Waz isn't taking a lot of damage. Itachi is in a lot of trouble here. The momentum has already been put on, but he has to force the flicker himself out. I think they honestly should go for a lane swap here to allow Bruno to break that tier 1.
Definitely. Nicely done there from Itachi as well, forcing out big ultimates coming from Geo Esports. And because of this, they buy a little bit more time to actually snowball their way through. But now Was getting chased off here, but here comes the Cobra. It is a setup. Does it able to connect here? Unfortunately, it doesn't. They have to force themselves to disengage, but Aura will get chunked down from the meteor shower. The turtle bra from Mocker, and Ash will catch out the Kagura. Where's the Wader Dragon? Yes, it is. He catch one. Libra, you're in trouble as well. Revitalize has been used as well as Evo Esports. They're coming on top. They're going to snowball their way through the game. And Baxia catches on Bruno. Bruno, where are you running, my friend? Where are you running?
Rest of the team is pulling up as Evil Esports after winning a convincing team fight 3K ahead. They need to start getting these objectives. Top tier 1 will be going down as well as Mocker. He's making sure that he's cutting down Libra. Libra's in trouble. Aura, great play. Comes and flickers in, making sure Itachi, he's not going to be making it out of there. And now Luca's in trouble as well. Great play coming out of Gufra.
Nicely done there with the flicker. Tyrant's Rage here, and now he's going to steal off the goal as well. Nicely done coming from Geo Esports. All hope is not lost yet, but let's take a look at the replay right here.
Look at that.
Flicker?
Oh! So clean. So clean.
Ouch, that's yummy right there. And because of that, we can see Evo Esports here. They overextended. They're a little bit overconfident. Did not expect the flicker play here coming from Aura. So in this case, Evo Esports, how would they capitalize on this here? They had the early engagement here, but let's look at itemization right now.
Yeah, overall, I mean, everybody's just picking up their... Oh, boy. Libra's in trouble. Goes down, instantly getting caught out there. Great play coming in from Ash as well. Oh, wait, hold up. Look at the rotations. Here it comes. Waz. He's already putting it into KT, but he has to pull away. He's trying to buy some time to make sure the minions go down, but it looks like Evil doesn't want to go for another risky dive. They learned their lesson.
All right, he's all by himself. Gio, you have no backup. Where are you going? Bruno is in the vicinity. Homie is on top, but here comes the Tyrant Rage. Doesn't go for a stun, but instantly gets bursted down from the Chang'e, and now Nomis is going to be next. Here comes the Way of the Dragon, and he goes down as well. The power of the Chang'e with the total buff. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
So much damage coming through, and I think Evil Esports is just so much better in terms of their map awareness because they are catching them off and making sure. Oh, June gets quite a bit of damage. But
meteor shower
follows up into the backline. One more time. Throw another one into the blender.
Oh my, that power here coming from Mocker, and you saw that how he had the turtle bomb just doing so much damage, right? This is him without the turtle bomb, and he just got his glowing one in like less than a minute ago. So this is where he's gonna chunk out a lot of max HP here by Cobra. The Way of the Dragon from Ash catches on Aura. You're all by himself. The Tyrant's Rage. Where's the follower? It's too late. He's all down. Here comes a domino blast as well. Catches onto Homies. Evil Esports. They're taking towers over towers, objectives after objectives, and Evil Esports, they are the mysterious villain indeed.
Man, wow. This game, I can't even, I don't even know what to say at this point. At a certain point, you have to question what's going on here. As now, they're going to take him out. Oh, but Ash wasn't able to get the way of the dragon. Oh, he was so close to just one-shotting Ash there, but luckily the way of the dragon was still in his grasp. The rest of Geo is kind of pulling backwards. They need some breathing room, but Evil Esports, 7K ahead, like, they are willing to drive their lead down Geo Esports' throats.
Oi, 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 Evil Esports. They are the perfect healers indeed. However, we saw the with the glowing one. This time he's got an ice queen one here. Geo Esports, they have to be careful here. We see the box here. Nice stun there coming in from Cobra. Instantly gets shut down. Godlike strike for the show. Evil Esports, they take the tier 2. They're looking for more. And Geo Esports, how will they defend against this here? They're trying their best. Jude getting poked a little bit here from the jungle. Here comes Box. They're cutting the backline. He wants to catch the Bruno, but Grog forcing the wall charge. And he's going to disengage, but the tier 3 is going to be an objective here from Kaze. Evil Esports, they've got the tier 3s. Now they're going to be transitioning into the tier 2 now, but now here comes the stun on the Libra. Libra, where are you going? Marker is going to meteor shower you. He's going to take one. Now he's looking for more, but all second tier 3 goes down. Immortal up on Baxia and Evil Esports. They're choking Geo Esports all the way through.
Yeah, they're making sure they have the revitalizers. Like, they're all refreshed now. Oh, but the Tyrant's wrapped into Tyrant's rage. They actually get one. Aura goes down. The rest of the team continues to progress forward as they are getting completely staged down. Mockery with that amazing ultimate. He has so much damage packed into one child.
One child indeed. Wall charge being expended as well. Luminum Blast catches on the one. Chang'e almost bursting out Jude once again for the second time. But Geo Esports will push back. And Evo Esports, they are going to reset this fight here and prepare for the Lord. And so Geo Esports will live to fight another day.
Yeah, but I think they pretty much almost secured this game. 10K gold ahead of their opponents here. All they have to do is kind of just choke them out to the Lord and look to push for the end game because Geo Esports is a whole item down.
That's all for now, but the Lord, they are going to be trying to secure a couple of takeoffs before transitioning a lot. But Evo Esports, they see the Leomon up top from Libra, and because of that, they are going to try and steal off the bounce. Your Hurricane already up, Wind Talker already up on the Chang'e, and Walker, he's going to be very, very slippery on that later baby child.
Yeah, this is just a complete slugfest here. Now Geo, they've been taking a lot of these risky 50-50s, and they haven't been winning them. And because of that, Evo Esports has developed such a large lead, getting a lot more picks, playing the map a little bit better. They're going to get one more catch here. They locked out Aura. Aura's in trouble as the rest of Jude. He's going to go down instantaneously. Itachi is looking at that Numenor Blast. Locks down Aura one more time. 2 kills secured, but that's not all. They're going to turn around on Libra, who's trying to make a play, pushing them away to try and clear the waves, as he does successfully. Now, it's just a matter of time before this game is over.
The creep wave is coming in. Revitalize being expanded as well. Evil Esports, they're thinking about closing this game. What can homies do? Nice wall block there, but Cho. Ash comes in the way of the dragon, catches the ground. He's taking the tower, but can they burst him out inside? Yes, they will. Legendary for Mockery. And now, this crystal is going to go down as Evil Esports will take game number 1. Not Mockery, but Mocker the man.
Oh my goodness, the absolute beast here. Absolute beast from both sides. They like to play flashy, that's for sure. They want to make sure they're like, hey, check out this cool trick before I absolutely demolish you here.
Oh, seeing how Mocker was playing there, it reminds me of that childhood horror film that I watched. It's called Chucky. Oof. It reminded me of that. Like, look at the damage output. The evil Chucky just...
He's gonna hear that. He's gonna lock on Angela next game just to be like, I'll show you. You want to see a doll? I'll show you. I'll show you a doll. But yeah, just a good, a complete slugfest for both of these teams. They're taking these risky 50-50s, knowing that their mechanics should be better than this. And every single time, Evil Esports, they managed to start etching it out in this war of attrition, started to develop a lead, completely suffocated them out of the jungle, and that's where it got difficult for Geo Esports to come back into the game.
Yeah, Geo Esports here, like, we know how early aggression they can go with the Croc and the Kufra, right? But unfortunately to say, they need, I think the thing that actually equalized the first phase was that 2 gold crabs that was stolen from Evil Esports, right? They lost the tier 1 tower, they got that 2 gold crab. That was what they actually opened things up to actually equalize the economy a little bit here in the early phase, which allowed them to fare well in the later stage game. But after that, I think it was the early engagements which they kind of messed up here from the side of Geo, where Evil Esports, they will manage to actually capitalize and got so many kills out of it.
I mean, honestly, if I was you in this position, and when we look at the stats here, it's overall you can tell a lot of the damage is coming from their members. But more importantly, look here, this was a particular fight that honestly shouldn't have happened. You can see that Bruno on the bottom side had already cleared the wave. He's going to farm some more. Disengage from this fight entirely. There is no reason to fight here. The moment you disengage, use the Revitalize to protect yourself, heal up a little bit more, reset. You can allow Bruno to kind of go into another lane, break another tier 1, because remember, it's before that good 6-7 minutes where tier 2 still has that shield. So, might as well take the rest of your tier 1s.
Yeah, definitely here. The Revitalize proved to be a huge factor here. We know that Evo Esports has those kind of sustainabilities to work with as compared to Geo, where they don't exactly have Revitalize. They're like a one-hit only kind of thing.
Oh,
But
so
like here,
good.
even as well, they just won this one-off combo. Imagine if Evo Esports had been revitalized as well, things would have went a little bit south here. They could actually tank through it just because of how tanky the Baxia and the Lolita is contributing in all this defensive strategy.
Yeah, and overall, this is where the slugfest continues to go on, and that's when Evil Esports, they realize, like, oh, we have a lead, and you guys aren't really doing too much. You're just going back into the lanes. You can't force any more fights. Now we're going to slowly suffocate you. Get one pick, okay, go straight into the jungle, take everything away and push you out of it.
Yeah, I really like how they utilize the timings really well here from Evil Esports. Like every turtle buff that they get, they abused it to the max up on towards Chang'e, right? And Mocker was just dishing out so much damage on the T-fights here. I think it was this one final point as well where they actually committed a fight, where four of them just focusing one, Mocker was just gatekeeping the rest from the south side of this battle, where it was just interesting. Yeah, it was this moment here, you see how Mocker played it. They were committing from the side, he was just gatekeeping his way through with a meteor shower later on, right here, and everyone was kind of hugged behind the crystal because of that meteor shower.
They all knew what was going to happen. They could see his positioning, they knew it was coming, they felt like it's coming, it came, and then they're like, you know what? We gotta back out from this one.
But in this case here, congratulations for Evo Esports for taking game number 1, but they need one more game if they want to stand a fair shot to fight for that lower bracket slot.
Yeah, they really need to keep on winning. I mean, a 2-0 for either one of these teams is really important here, but more so for Evil Esports. And if Geo brings this to at least a 1-1, that kind of denies Evil Esports the opportunity in that sense. So it's kind of like the odds are stacked against you at this point.
Well, actually, not just them here. Both teams are also having their odds stacked against them because both these teams need this 2-1. At least 2-1 if they want to play the safe card and then hopefully get a 2-0 in the following matches.
Yeah, again, we're just going to have to wait and see how these two teams play out. So far, as predicted, it was a slugfest and absolute chaos. I was just surprised that they were willing to take a lot of these fights where they're so confident that even in a 4v5 situation, they're like, you know what? We can do this.
Definitely here. And speaking of which here, the Grok and Kufra was great, but at the same time, I feel like the Bruno and Kagura was a little bit too far off to play a little bit early stage here. We know Kagura transitions really well in the mid to a late game, right? They needed someone to dish out damage in the early phase here to pair out with the Grok and also the Kufra. I agree with what you said as well. You said maybe a Lunox, maybe a Kimi would be better, but just because the Lolita pick was just so strong for Evo Esports, it just forced them into the situation where they have to pick the Kagura. They drafted the best of what they could have done around them, but at the same time, execution-wise, it was really tough. It was really tough to pull off with the Kagura.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand if you went even, and I think that was the big question, is like, when do you stop taking these 50-50s? Like, they were so confident every single time that by the time they realized, like, oh, we can't take these smaller trades anymore, like, it's too lethal, they're gonna dive us. That's the moment where they realize, like, oh no, now we're in deep trouble.
Oh yeah, when we talk about Evo Esports gameplay as well, I like that they understood their heroes really well. They played it to the maximum capacity of what they could have done, could have not done as well. If you pay attention to how the Cho was playing as well, where they were just running around, catching those right targets, the way of the dragon. We have been talking so much about Chang'e, we completely forgotten about Cho coming from Evo Esports, just catching out all these players from Geo, right? They were just caught up so many times out of position, and Geo, I think, you remember that one play up top where they actually overextended the dive from Geo to behind the tier 1, where they just committed fully here, brought so many players all the way top. The fight dragged on for so long from the side of Evo Esports because it was a clutch play from the Leomon, right?
yeah.
Coming from Geo. He bought so much time, but it gave also Evo's esports the time to actually go in for the kill. Yeah, that was kind of like a freebie, I'm going to give it to you. But the reason why they did it was kind of similar to how Todak played against Evo esports as well, where they had the, I think it was the Marsha just running around just buying time, right? The whole intention of it was to buy time for the Bruno to come online from Geo. But unfortunately, as soon as that happened, you saw the Cho and also I think it was Chang'e just came in down, caught off the Bruno, and that was pretty much whatever strat that they tried to do, just threw out the window.
I think that's a really good point, and a really good example that you bring up here. The main difference between those two examples, where Todak was running around with the Masha and Geo Esports with the Leomord as well as the Kufra, the main difference was there was a clear objective with Todak because they were having a good push. They were looking to break a specific objective, which in this case was either Lord or a tower. On Geo, on the other hand, it's like you're buying time to farm.
Yeah.
That's not exactly a optimal solution to your problem. You need to be able to start taking out the tier 1s, and I think with Bruno, they did an amazing job breaking a tier 1 less than 2 minutes into the game. That's when you do the lane swap immediately. You could potentially break another turret on the opposite side of the map, and that will keep you even in the game, even if you're giving like 3 or maybe even 4 kills.
Yeah, definitely here. I think it was like they broke the tower what, like 1 minute 05, 1:05 before I think almost the crab just spawned, right? Before the river crab actually spawned. So the broke the tower. I was like, I never knew a Kufra and a Bruno could break a tower that easily on the first minute. I'm like, how is that possible?
I mean, they didn't really contest them. Evil Esports is like, you know what? We're gonna send 5 men into their buff. We're gonna deny them EXP. Again, 2 different priorities from these teams. However, Evil Esports won out in the end because Geo got caught out a little too many times and were unlucky on certain 50-50s.
Yes, definitely here, and we're looking forward to see how they're gonna be playing this out here. As because right now, Evil Esports, they're in the lead here. They need this 2-0 against Team Geo, but I don't know what kind of strategy that we're seeing here, because Evo Esports, they tried to play the Zaz pick in the previous game against Soda. It didn't work out. Are they going to bring this Zaz pick for this game?
I hope they do. I'd really like to see Zaz back into the game. Evil, making sure, again, don't want to deal with split push. We want to make sure that we can hold our ground. And I think considering what their playstyle was of sending 5 people into the enemy buff side, like, again, a Masha would be pretty detrimental.
Masha, yeah, definitely here. We saw Evo Esports definitely played the Masha really well. Geo, on the other hand, I don't know. Like, both teams actually play a really good Masha. It just comes down to how well they're going to be drafting each other here. Like, I like how they forced the Lolita Chang'e early on from side Evo Esports, so I wouldn't be surprised if they ban the Chang'e this game. But this leaves up a lot of heroes in the pool. In this case, Kufra is definitely going to be let off the grid once again.
Yeah. I mean, Geo, they don't want to ban on the Chang'e. They could easily hold it up for themselves because they are on red side here. Now, the question is Evil Esports going to hold on to it? Because if they do, it's like, oh, it's going to get instantly counterpicked. Is it worth it? Now, we have to go to the next best thing, which is Kufra. Maybe even a Cho if they want to flex out, but most people won't go for it. But Harith, I completely forgot about it. Still on the table. Early pick, I mean, it has its power.
I didn't like it, but I saw how Todak struggled with it as well. They had one single Kufra, but eventually they still won the game in a way. So sorry, did they win the game? Hold on.
Okay, while you look for that, Geo just locked in both Kufra as well as Hylos, 2 power pick tanks here, and I think that's going to make a huge difference. Evil, even though they are wanting to show off their mechanical supremacy with the Cho, it's going to be a little bit more difficult now that they have both Kufra as well as the Hylos. They work hand in hand nicely, and if Geo gets the Esmeralda in the next rotation, like, ooh, that's a nasty comp.
Yeah, the Kufra versus Harith, the Kufra still won against the Harith, despite Todak going up against Evo Esports, right? So Evo Esports, they prioritize Harith. They know how to deal with the Kufra early on. But in the late game here, it's definitely going to be a tough thing here. But in this case, the Luna getting picked off here, and like, okay.
Why? That was the perfect time to pick up an
Esmeralda, right?
That would have been so good. That would have been so good. Okay, fair enough. They take the Lunox. I think it could come down to champion, like what kind of hero pool that they have. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt there. Lunox is not bad, but I mean, Esmeralda would have been so nasty. You have the Glorious Pathway. You have the combination with the Emperor's Wrath and Revenge from Kufra. That would have been so good.
Yeah, definitely. I agree on that point here, but at the same time, give them the benefit down here as well, because I remember if in case Evo Esports pulls some freaky draft, at least you're not tied out to just getting the Esperanza, which can't do too much in that regard, which I agree. But at the same time, Evo Esports, they have to figure a way to deal with Blue Dogs here. But Lolita is going to be one of the heroes that they may ban here from side Geo because he just cancels out whatever Darkany damage being dished out from side Blue Dogs.
Yeah.
And only if they go for it.
Agreed. And I think Geo, they just want to ban out tanks. Like, just get rid of the tanks, limit their options. Yep, Lolita, get rid of that. Don't let Evil have options here. And now they're going to get the first pick. They could go for a Leomord again for themselves, take away a super safe pick, but instead they go for the Kimmy for their marksman.
Wow, marksman Kimmy, very, very long approach here. We've seen the meta shift a little bit here, but marksman Kimmy is still a viable pick here. But fortunately for Geo, I think Geo is the only team that plays Kimmy with a jungle emblem, if I'm not mistaken. Todak plays it as a mage. So if not mistaken, no, actually it was Sunspark that actually played it as a jungle emblem.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to, they could go for it, but it looks like they're going to go for two secondary tanks, two actually really effective tanks here. The Baxia deals, sorry, not with the Kufra, but it deals specifically with the high loss really nicely. The Katon is a good shout, especially if they are ahead. If they get a lead like they had in the previous game, tower dives are just like on the table.
Whoa!
Your
Whoa!
team is
Whoa! 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 Okay.
Just go next. It's done. It's done. It's done.
Like, I'm a big fan of Estes, but I've not seen Estes played at the highest tier of competition, and most of the time I see it doesn't work out. I agree the Baxia is a fantastic pick just because it deals really well with the high loss, and we know how well the double revitalize or maybe even single revitalize with the high loss, with the Glorious Pathway is insanely strong, right?
Yep,
But
yep.
I think the Estes pick right here, we have the Baxia kind of like a free Durance with the Halberd.
Yep.
Pairing it with the Revitalize, pairing it with the Moon's Blessing coming from Estes, we are talking about double heals versus double heals. And look at this, double Revitalize up on towards the Estes and also the Baxia. Oh my god, this is a crazy draft, but it feels like the perfect draft as well.
Here's my opinion. Evil Esports 100% win team fights. There is no way they're losing team fights unless somebody has slow fingers. Like, if they're playing at the top of their game, there is no way they're losing team fights. Geo Esports, what's really interesting is that their early game is particularly strong. If they don't get a lead and get Hayabusa ahead to create that split push, the game is slowly going to unravel out of their hands towards mid-game onwards. So again, it's about who makes the least amount of mistakes coming into this. They need to play to the win conditions. And for Geo, which I hope they see this, they realize that they cannot win these team fights anymore.
No, I have to agree and disagree at the same time, but you know, Fighter Cho is one of the strongest, hard-hitting fighters in the game as well. I'm a little bit worried here in a sense where they don't exactly have a super tanky fighter, but at the same time, Estes and Baxter kind of compensates that with the double revitalize. So Cho, he can actually go pretty hammer here in this team fights here. I think they may be playing around the Cho a lot rather than playing a lot around this Baxia and Estes pick.
Exactly, but that's the thing. If you're playing around one hero, and if Evil X identify like, oh, we just have to worry about the Cho, they can just pick and choose their fights wherever they want, and I think that's kind of the big issue. Let's go into this game, see the lane assignments for both Evil Esports against Geo Esports in game 2.
Truth be told, Gideon, I'm a little bit weary here from side Evil Esports because of the creep clear potential, but they still have the Harif in this game, so let's just see how they're going to be playing this off here. Geo Esports going to be starting those off here. You can see the bounce ball connects on the Luca.
Be aggressive.
I don't think he can run from this here, so his half HP down right before the first creep wave here. So Geo Esports, they are going to go super aggressive in all these team fights now.
Yeah, just keep taking trades like there's nothing he can do. He's going to hit level 2 really soon. They should back off right about now. Revitalize has already been popped up, but alright, he's going to walk away. He's going to walk away A-OK. They win the trade off there. Ash making sure Libra doesn't even get the buff. Ooh, Geo, they have to play this early game super aggressive, super strong.
Yeah, they definitely can play this hyper-aggressive from side Geo Esports with the Kimi, with the high loss, definitely one of the stronger picks here. But Evo Esports here, they have to rely solely on Ash, on that Cho here to make a lot of space. That they're doing exactly right that here. But speaking of which here, Geo Esports, they're definitely going to be having the slight advantage here, trading a little bit here, but once the first level 4 comes in from both this mid lanes, this is where the turning point for both the teams now.
Yeah, I think as of right now, Evil Esports, once they hit their level 4s, this is where the game sort of changes. Fox Mocker, he's already level 4 here. He's just waiting for Kates to hit his level 4 and the rest of his team. They should honestly be pressuring the buffs at this point in time just to make sure they don't get ahead, because Geo Esports on the bottom side of the map, they see 4 people, they're like, alright, we're gonna punish top side.
And of course, for those of you watching as well, this is going to be a redemption code for you guys. Freebies for everyone by Mlbb World Championship 2019, code SM1. But as of now, back towards the game here, we see Baxia from the side of Luca. He's setting up push here. He's going to make a retreat. He scouts his movement coming up from Geo Esports, but it seems to be a little bit of harassment here. But Luca is a little bit overextended here, but he will get punished immediately just because they have the Cobra. But here comes the way of the dragon from Ash. They will go in for the trade. They're looking for more. Here comes the rest of the team from Sunny Evil Esports. Freelance gets boss now. They will get another one. And June, where are you going? He's going to be fine here with the Purify. And Evil Esports wins this 2-0. But unfortunately to say, in terms of network here, they lost a little bit here, but they will immediately transition into a turtle buff.
Like, look at where the mistake is made. Immediately, he sees the problem like, oh no, he sees Ash a little too late. And literally, Ash just wins them the team fight with a third hit, Kundo landing on 2 of the core members, and the rest of Evil Esports is just like, alright, let's just push on through. 5 members catching on to Lunox. June doesn't even stand a chance.
And this is what I'm talking about, right? Evil Esports, it all comes down to that pre-4. The pre-4 is going to decide the entire tempo for either of these teams. And you saw after they won that first engagement here, they immediately dived on towards the rest of the members from Geo Esports. They didn't expect how much power that Evil Esports was coming in. They ran into their face. They could not dish out damage because of this S-Staff pick here. And they were able to come on top. And fortunately, they also had the total buff in favor of Evil Esports. So Geo Esports, they have to take a chill pill, wait for the third buff to expire before coming to fight. But it looks to me, they will try and fight against this Baxia now.
Yeah, I think honestly, at this point in time, there is no need to take the chill pill. They need to kind of trade a little bit more often. They need to be a little bit more aware of where Ash is at all times, because if he gets that side flank and gets to the back line, it's going to cause a lot of disruption, and they have to play front to front.
Yup, Evil Esports was like 2k behind Geo Esports. Now they're taking lead with 1.8k. But it seems to me the slows are coming in. Kimi coming in. Tags are being touching with the long range. It doesn't even matter here, but Luca will get caught out here. Here comes the bouncy ball. The Revitalize is there, but from behind, the Tyrant's range is there. Geo, they're forced to disengage, and the Glorious Pathway is there. Everyone from Sunny Evil Esports are pretty slow, and Geo Esports will make it out safely. Nicely done from them.
Yep, nicely done indeed. Geo Esports on the opposite side of the map. The Hayabusa is getting a free push, which finally he's not getting pressured by 4 to 5 members of Evil Esports.
Yeah, that's what Geo Esports is trying to pull off as of now. But however, oh yeah.
Yeah, however, they're going to keep on pushing on forward as Geo Esports slowly pulling back. Evil Esports wants to make sure they're holding him at bay. Aura's in trouble. One more Chrono Dash is going to do it. He picks up a free kill, goes down to the bot lane. They're going to take Turtle away as well. Wasp holding his ground.
Oh, are they going to be fine as of now? You can see Evil Esports is trying to secure the turtle buff once again. But Geo Esports, they've lost Aura in the process. And because of this, it's going to be another free turtle buff in favor of them, but Libra is going to make a run for it here to buy a little bit of time. Pops the shadow kill here, and I'm not too sure if it's a good idea. Can he escape here? Does he have the illusions? He's surrounded from the guys from Evil Esports, and he will go down. But while that is actually happening here, Geo Esports is looking to trade a tier 1 up top.
Yeah, I mean, Hayabusa just needed 3 more seconds before he had quad shadow, but Waz almost picks him up. Mocker was able to get out of that with a Chrono Dash. Waz is now in trouble as he's on top of the bouncing ball. Can he actually make it out of there? The Chrono Dash is so powerful with a single vision. He's going to be walking up the Salmon Force, allowing for the cooldowns to dash forward without anything to worry. Now Amis is in trouble. He's trying to get out of the Moonwell. Gets slowed. He's locked down. Luca follows up June, turning it around, but the Revitalize put onto the ground. But Estes is keeping the rest of the team alive. June's damage is nothing at this point in time. Mocker can dive. He walks through another Salmon Force, and it's over.
Chucky is here, ladies and gentlemen. Chucky is here. Mocker with the child's play right here, and he is going to be able to douche out so much damage. Let's take a look at the recap as well. You saw the Revitalize from the side of Hylos could not do much, as you can see everyone from the side of Evil Esports, they could just go out and go hammer, because this Estes is just keeping so much damage here, and it allowed Max to just go run rapid with the ultimate, which is fantastically nice to watch.
Yep, and Libra just got his Blade of Despair here. Was is going to be on top of Mocker. Mocker can't really get out of the way. He pops the Xamarin Force. He's just waiting for it to finish before he puts in the hurt into Was. He's not going to let him walk away without some damage in return.
And at the same time here, Geo Esports, they need to buy a bit of time here. They're 3k defensive here now. Blade of Despair up on Ash. Cho is going to hit like a truck right here from the side of Evil Esports. Geo Esports, they have to reset this fight, but fortunately for them, they still have a little bit of map control to work with. So this is going to buy a little bit of time for the KD to come overnight. 0-1-2 with the jungle emblem. He needs those marksman items. Same goes for Libra with the split push, but is Evil Esports giving them the split push potential? Because right now, the Turtles are for contestants here, and no, they won't lose Joe here. Nice catch from side Joe Esports, but here comes Mocker with the bouncy ball. Was going to be blocking his way through. Xamarin Force has been committed, but Aura will go down eventually here. Lunox with the brilliant, but double kill for Mocker, and Evil Esports is gonna take 2 in the bag.
And what was I saying? They don't lose team fights. Evil does not lose team fights with this composition. And Geo hasn't got the items. It's like, oh, legendary coming in from Mocker. He wants one more. Wasp is going to go down to the beast himself. Estes picks up the kill instead. But oh my goodness, Evil is basically unstoppable.
Nicely done here. They understood their timings from inside Evil Esports. They know that, hey, this is time for them to shine. They can run rampant here, just snowball their way through. And I'm surprised Geo Esports is actually responding to all these fights here, because the best solution right now is go for the split push. Unfortunately, they could not do that because Libra is always getting caught off in a sense here, because Luca, this tank is just so mobile in terms of rotating.
Yeah, they just need to hold their ground. Hayabusa needs to push one more way, but I don't think Geo has enough wave clear to push them out. As Luca, he's making sure that with Boxia blocking all the shots, making sure like, hey, it doesn't matter, I can take the damage. As Estes is gonna bring me back up to full.
Look how mobile Luca is, right? He's just zoning just by applying pressure, by just spinning around. And Joe Esports a little bit afraid to actually contest him here, expecting the Basia may or may not just jump anytime here. So Evil Esports is definitely one step ahead in the mind game department.
Yeah, and it's so brutal to watch because Geo, what can they really do? Oh, Libra trying to make something happen, but Ash walks near the way, making sure that he gets the way to the dragon onto Libra. He needs to dash out of the way. Well, third hit, Jakuno doesn't actually hit. One more hit as Ash quickly flickers out of there. That was a close hit. Well played to both sides.
Well, the fight is not over because from behind, Marco goes in for a casual tap here. Nice passing with the alley-oop, and he will get one. Luca trying to catch up to Kufra, but unfortunately, he can't do any much more. But Marco right now still has a total of 1.2k crit on that tariff here.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, and I don't know how Geo Esports is going to stop them at this point. They need to somehow find the catch while dealing a lot of damage to Mocker, but they have no real way of stopping him besides the Kufra, and Kufra hasn't even finished up his second item.
Oh, speaking of second items here, I feel like Geo Esports, they have to buy a little bit more time, because right now, the Lord is up for contestants, and this is where they need to split up the food, but Evil Esports does not letting them slide here. 3 people taking the Lord. We see the Baxia and Joe also pushing top and middle lane, and because of that, they're able to stall everyone in Geo Esports in the base. Marker now with the concentrated energy available here. How do you kill this Harif now?
I don't think they can. I think Evil Esports is just so far ahead. They've developed a 9k gold lead, and they're also completely zoning Geo Esports for walking out of their base. Again, similar to game 1, they're choking them out. They are not letting them touch the jungle.
Oh my, Evil Esports. Lord is going to be knocking onto the tier 3 here. Here comes the glorious pathway being expanded from the side of Geo Esports. Xamarin Force as well. They will try to burst out onto a Toro. Legendary for Walker once again. Brilliant has been committed here. SS healing his way through. Hayabusa dishing out a little bit damage. Unfortunately, doesn't have what it takes here, but the tier 3, they're just tanking their way through. Evil Esports, they don't care. They're tanking the tier 3s, but eventually found out they don't have those creep waves. But now, transitional bottom, now going into the kill as well. They will take out the Ludas. Wasp is going to be next. Here comes the Wave of Dragon and double kill. Maybe a triple. Unfortunately, gets secured from Ash instead. And Evil Esports, they're going to go for the T-Bar. They're diving to Libra. Libra, where are you going? I'm coming, baby. Let me kill you. Let me tap that. Unfortunately, he saves the day in a way where he's going to be in towards the fountain.
Yep, Luca, his immortality just broke, and Aura wants to keep him stuck just there. He needs a little bit more time for his cooldowns to actually activate. Aura stands right on top of him so that even if he transforms to try and hop over the wall, he won't let him. Oh no! He sees the Harith and he backs away.
Oh, Evo Esports here. They will take the tier 3 up top now. Middle tower is pretty much exposed. Geo Esports is all up to the higher for the split push here. Was with the Tyrant's Revenge. Doesn't connect. He's going to use the bouncing ball to disengage here. But the Estes slow with the Examine Force. So much slows here from the side of Evo Esports. How will they fight this here? They need the glorious pathway and get a really good setup here from side Geo Esports if they want to stand and make a chance to make a comeback now.
And now Libra, again, the 1v1 of the lifetime has begun. He dashes back. He's trying to clear the waves. He doesn't really want to interact. Quickly, just takes the shadow, but he doesn't use his ultimate yet. He's holding it up to make a play, but again, mid-side is under a lot of fire as the team fight has broken out.
Evo Esports, they're thinking about closing this game. Baxter goes in for a dive, but Cho will finish off the Hayabusa down below. Revitalize has been used from Aura, but unfortunately will get shut down from the carry. And now Boss is going to be next. Double kill for him. It's not over. Homie is trying his best to defend here. They need to reset. The crystal is pretty much exposed and up for grabs. How will they take this here? Can't say. The carry is going to be focusing on the crystal, and this is going to be game for Evo Esports. 2 clean zeros.
Woo! Looks like their aggressive play style and prioritizing the EXP, even though they're willing to sacrifice a tier 1, they made a net profit off of their 50-50s, and they kept getting up on top. And I think it's a crushing defeat for Geo Esports because it's the worst way to lose when you can't even walk out of your base to get that farm. And I think it's an impressive play style from Evil Esports. You just cannot let this team get that sort of lead.
Yeah, definitely here, and they needed someone to actually buy time for the Haya to go for the split here, and it was really tough here because you could see how mobile Evo Esports means in most of the team fights, right? Like even the slows as well. You saw at one point the Examine Force were expanded. Same goes for the Estes slows, and without the glorious pathway, you saw that Geo was kind of like, I can't move out of this here. We need a glorious pathway to get out, and that's a great way to bring the Estes into the meta here. And not a lot of players, especially myself, have always been trying to bring the Estes into the meta. I feel like Evo Esports, they found a weird niche situation which allowed them to pull this draft off. Which was really nice.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's one way of thinking of it. I personally think that they just needed to not take 50-50s that they can't win, because again, their objective was to break turrets, and I think Geo had the right idea, just a little bit poor on the execution, because number one, here is where you can clearly see that Cho is already on his way, and they make that simple mistake of just, if somebody would just point out on that, like, hey, Cho's missing, he's coming, we've already got the first kill, we could just back off, and you net yourself some gold off of that kill, and you could pressure another turret.
Yeah, I feel like Ash definitely caught them off surprise. He came out of the bush because of that, and because of the kill here, they were able to come on top. So it's still fantastic here. But as the game progressed here, this was where, like I said, after the pre-4 decides the tempo, right? This is their first 4 coming in from Evo Esports here, immediately making full use of the Estes Goddess Blessing, and they were just running rampant here. Homies was trying his best to dish out damage from the side of Geo Esports, but unfortunately Evo Esports had the upper hand here. They know they have the advantage. They had double Revitalize as compared to 1 Revitalize on towards the high loss.
Yeah, and even though, you know, Kufra is a natural counter to the Harith here, but the moment he just gets around him, it's like, oh, you position the bouncing ball a little bit off, Harith gets behind, and then if you have super fast fingers, the chrono dashes, you can get that reset so quickly. And I think time and time again, he's so far ahead, and with the support of Revitalize as well as Estes, he's just unkillable.
Yeah, definitely here, and you see at this point as well, they were kind of stunned in the sense where, hey, the creep waves are kind of like pushing in. There's no creep on the tier 2, and it was like, oh wait, there's a creep wave down bottom. They just went down. So it was a little fun moment there for Evo Esports, but still very, very great time here because they work as a single unit. They live together, they die together.